will have revenge. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Welcome, followers of the Dark Side and the Light. I'm your host, John, the real JP3. And I'm joined as always by my good friend and fellow co-host, who is the master of the dark side, expert on the occult, and obtainer of rare antiquities and holocrons. Please welcome Dark Lord of the Sith.
I like that little bit of a Courtney accent you got going through there every now and then.
I try.
You know, it does wonders, John. You know, if I was in the market for a boyfriend, yeah, I don't know. You might be on the list.
You're not my type. And I'm not in the market for a boyfriend.
Well, damn. Neither am I. That makes it good for both of us. But, hi. This is Balance of the Force, formerly known as the Rule of Two of Star Wars podcast. If you're new to the show, welcome. We appreciate you listening. Please tell a friend. Continue to like, share, and in general, rejoice in the Force. John, what are we talking about today, my man? Episode 118, right?
Episode 118 of Balance of the Force of Star Wars podcast. So, Dave.
What you got?
The day that we are recording this episode for our Thursday launch is November 19th, 2019, which we are exactly 1 month away from The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9. Emotions, thoughts, what's going through your mind. Most of our show will be tailored around Rise of Skywalker stuff, obviously. What's going on? What are you feeling?
Utter anticipation. You know, I think I'm more excited for Star Wars movies than I am Christmas. It's Star Wars. Like that's what I mark my calendar for in December. Like, okay, Christmas, I know I'm going to get probably this, and this, because nowadays people don't surprise me. They just ask me, hey, what do you want? Okay, here you go. This is my list.
Or you unwrap the gifts that people wrap for you and then you rewrap them.
When have I ever done that, John? I haven't done that since I was an adolescent. And mentally, I'm still an adolescent, but...
Exactly.
But still, other than that. No, like I'm jazzed. I have... Of course, everybody's expectations are mile high, mine included, but I don't know what I'm in for. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers as best I can. You know, they released a little snippet, 20-second trailer mini short today on Twitter, Internet, Fandango, all that jazz. And, you know, you mentioned some people said it was very spoilery. I don't think it's very spoilery. I don't think it alludes to anything. It's just a lot of little images that we haven't seen before, some adding to current either pictures or clips that we've seen before, maybe a longer half second or two to look at it. But other than that, it doesn't give anything away, if you ask me.
I agree. I don't think it gives anything away either. Also, we received I think it's Dolby Cinema movie poster exclusive to The Rise of Skywalker. So overall, pretty cool poster. You got an X-Wing fighter. It looks like it's going up against which
more than likely that's going to be Poe's fighter.
Yeah, Dreadnought. Is that the right word?
No. So the Dreadnought was like Kennedy's ship in The Last Jedi. That was the first time we got to see a Dreadnought. These look like they are Imperial Star Destroyers with a red little paint job, which we're all assuming belong to the Sith troopers, but has not been officially confirmed.
The ones underneath it, I was like, okay, I know those are Imperial Star Destroyers, but this one, I guess, because the close-upness.
Yeah, I just think it's close up.
Funny, interesting fact. Not an interesting fact, but funny. I was like clicked on the poster when you sent it to me, and I was looking. I was like, "This is cool." And then I posted it a couple of hours later, and there was people commenting on it. They're like, "If we get the same stupid opening phone call that we got in The Last Jedi, we are walking out. Like that's don't be that way, JJ. I said, and I was thinking, I was like, JJ won't do that. Like that's not JJ. It's not his way of doing things. I don't see JJ doing it.
He's not going to do the same joke, the same bit, but he did open Force Awakens with Poe being very whimsical. You talk first? Who talks first?
Yes.
I can't tell with all the apparatus. Which I didn't think that was as bad. Don't get me wrong. I was like, I'm not sold. It wasn't Han Solo's I Know. You know what I mean? It didn't hit perfectly. But I think the only reason it didn't is because I didn't know the character. I hadn't grown to understand who the character was. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, looking back at it now, after seeing The Force Awakens, I don't know how many times, as well as The Last Jedi, it's not so bad. Like, it doesn't rub me the wrong way. The call to general hugs still doesn't rub me the right way. But we'll talk in another 10 years and we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, the poster looks really cool. I'm sure we will get one when we go and see the movie at our local movie theater, and our 3 different other times that we're.
I was going to say because we're. Oh, did you end up getting the tickets after all for the?
I did not. I keep forgetting, and then when I said 3 other times, I was like, "Oh, I didn't buy the other."
He doesn't love me, ladies and gentlemen. Force users, Gris, Chiss, Rodians, all those others out there. He doesn't love me. He treats me like those. He treats me like a Jawa. Yep. Just like the Mandalorian did. You're trying to disintegrate me.
If I could disintegrate you, I may not think about it.
There goes your Christmas gift. But no, I'm super jazzed. Like the poster came out today. The little snippet trailer video came out, which we'll talk, a little bit in depth, like a little breakdown here and there. But also Entertainment Weekly shot out a few awesome covers for their magazine, as well as some other behind the scenes shots that they haven't released prior to this. What do you want to start with? You want to start with the covers, or do you want to start with the little trailer video breakdown?
Start with the trailer video breakdown.
Okay. You got it memorized, or do you need to pull it up?
I'll probably pause and play it as we talk with no sound, just to. It moves. So the other thing I noticed is it moves extremely quick. You got to pay attention. You got to listen. There's parts that you can miss very quickly. But what I love, what I thought was absolutely amazing and how they opened this trailer was the C-3PO scene, where he talks about the fact that he's taking one last look at his friends.
And you hear a little bit more of the speech before, and that's what I really want to know. I think everybody does, but you can't really make much out.
All we've done.
Because all he says, all we've done all this time. All we've done all this time. So I guess he's just, recapping his journey with them, maybe?
Yeah, and we could get some more in depth. I think, obviously, they're playing snippets. This is literally a 30-second clip, and I'm telling you, it moves quick.
And it's not even a full 30 because you have the little scenes of blackout and words.
Yeah, that is true. It sounds like Mark Hamill is voicing in the background for most of it. Again, in true JJ fashion, this may not be voices or what am I trying to say? Like scenes from the Rise of Skywalker. It could be from previous movies, previous recordings. It may not be actually him in the movie. Because I think, was it Rion that they pieced together like 3 different timelines?
They also did the same darn thing for Force Awakens in that scene where Rey touches the lightsaber. They nab sound bits from here or there and splice this and tweak that. So, there's no end to the possibilities that these guys are able to do.
Yeah, and I say that just not as a caveat, because obviously we didn't put out the trailer. We just posted it as a caveat, like, hey guys, just because you hear Mark Hamill's voice doesn't mean he's going to be in the movie. I think we can kind of agree that even though we have not yet seen a physical being of the Emperor, like seen his face, know that that's him, and not just like a shadow of maybe his throne, I think it's safe to say we are going to see Ian McDiarmid in The Rise of Skywalker. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, they've already confirmed he's coming back to some extent. We don't know if it's going to be through a Sith, ghost, a holocron talking, just a weird head in a chair. I don't know. or he's just talking through the force and like he's like the wind. He's elusive. You can't see the damn guy, but he's everywhere. I don't know.
When you said like head, like in a chair or something, I think of like Men in Black, where the guy's like holding
Could be. I don't know.
and he's the alien.
JJ did say he's taking a risk in this movie that he wouldn't have thought of taking in The Force Awakens. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens, but just as a guys, let's get excited. We're gonna excited for it, but don't be upset if you don't see Mark Hamill. Okay, just FYI.
You're gonna see him. He's gonna be a blue glowy, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, like, come on, Ray, blah blah blah. This is your story now."
So the next part of the scene that we see is Millennium Falcon jumping through light speed, coming out to a planet. I'm not good with planet names. I'm sure Dave will be like, "Oh, that's the planet of da 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 Mosafar or something."
No, I have no idea what planet it is.
Okay.
I usually wait for the little captions to come on the bottom left-hand side that says Camino.
Oh, true. That's right.
I usually wait for that. And, play it safe.
And so as soon as we get that, then all of a sudden we break and we flip to where Rey is looking at a damaged Darth Vader helmet. Sitting, looks like to be on a pedestal. It's in a white room somewhat.
Which we've seen the white room before in previous trailers, the Entertainment Weekly spots. Just a close-up of the mask.
Yeah, and we did see, was it see, I'm getting confused on the number on the trailers and whether, I think it was the last trailer or the final trailer that aired. We see Kylo Ren and Rey cutting down Darth Vader's silhouette. This could be a remnant of that, and we just don't see Kylo Ren in the shot.
Well, I don't think it's the silhouette. I think it's the podium that this helmet is standing on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So I think it's
silhouette's not the right word.
Yeah, I think it's the podium that it's standing on, and they're striking like the podium itself, and the mask is like what's slowly falling and kind of like probably spinning and lens flare and all this other nonsense coming out, which I will love because I love lens flares and I love JJ. So let's just continue.
And so this isn't the first time that we have seen the mask in this type of condition. We did see this in episode 7, The Force Awakens with JJ. I'm trying to recall. I don't think we saw it in Rian Johnson. So it's probably just a nod back to JJ on episode 7.
Which, if they make a mold of that and sell like the Vader destroyed mask, I got to get it, John. I got to get it. And I got to get like a little black podium, just put it somewhere in my podcast room. It would just be too awesome.
He's running out of space in his podcast.
No, I got plenty of space. Just wait till I get everything framed. Then it'll be trouble.
And then we flip to a scene, a planet that we've seen before, where our group of Poe, Rey, Finn, Chewbacca, C-3PO are overlooking a valley where looks like there's a festival or where some people live. Could be nomads. Dave brought up something that it could be actually Jawas or
Ewoks.
I was going to say, I don't even know. I was going to say Chewies. Not Chewies.
Wookiees?
Thank you.
Yeah, Wookiees are pretty tall.
So we see that, and we see a flip real quick through that. We don't really know what this planet is, to my knowledge, or I don't remember, which is quite possible. I don't remember.
So the reason I think they might be Ewoks, I'm more leaning towards Ewoks than anything, is like, let's say they're like displaced from Endor or something crazy, but I highly doubt it. Knowing our luck, like I'm going to put all my money in the Ewok basket that everybody wants to see Ewoks, and it's going to be more Jawas. Which Jawas are adorable. I don't care what they say. So what if they're a little messy? They like eggs. I like eggs. They laughed when the Mandalorian bumped his head inside their sandcrawler. I dig them. They'd be cool guys to hang out with. Imagine having a couple beers with some Jawas. You'd wake up missing your watch, a few other things.
Exactly.
But you know.
Moving on, we go to the next scene. It looks like we have some First Order troopers that are on a snowmobile machine in the sand. That's what I'm going to take it as. Moving extremely quick, firing guns out of the front of it as they're chasing somebody, obviously. You see all of a sudden Rey turned around with a blaster, shoots back towards them. You see a cloud of yellow smoke explode. You cut to a picture of Finn
doing his classic woo
yeah,
every time,
exactly.
every movie. Poor guy.
And so I think we've seen that before. I think it was the first trailer we saw that in. I can't remember now. I can't believe there's only been 3 of them, and you feel like there's so much information that you already know, and I feel like it's all in misdirection.
Just because you've been watching them repeatedly. That's why.
Probably a true statement. And then we cut to a scene again. Not sure where it's at, but you got Rey. It looks like it's snowing. It could be ash. It could be rubble. It could be something that's falling from the sky. I say snowing. It may not be snowing. I'm going to go with snowing only because it looks like the stairs have some snow on them. But again, you can see fires in the background, so it may just be ash from explosions.
So
but she's holding your lightsaber.
Do you think this is a planet that they made Zori Bliss on? Because we know it's cold. We know there's snow there. Or do you think this is later on in the film? Or even earlier in the film?
That's why I keep them around. Deductive reasoning.
I try.
I'm going to. I want to go with yours because it makes sense and we know that, but I don't know. I don't think I can tell enough from just what we've seen from this clip of what's going on. I think there's going to be a battle. Obviously, she's got her lightsaber out, or they were fighting. Obviously, and then you also brought up the fact that there's a guy in the background.
So there's also somebody in the foreground. Like I didn't notice until right now. So like if you pause it at the 16-second mark, she's looking straight at somebody, and they've got some type of handle, something right in her direct eye line, like at their side.
True,
you know what I mean?
Very true.
Could this be a Knights of Ren showdown?
Could be. Could it just be a Kylo and we're just overthinking this too much?
Never know, man.
Knights of Ren seems plausible because of the guy behind her. Could be another Ren, a Knight of Ren, running towards her.
It could be Jebediah Ren.
Oh, God. Here we go with Dave's naming the Rens again. Like their cult or something. So more on that. We'll see where it fits in. And then we cut to a scene, front face mask of Kylo Ren and his Kasuki. Be proud that I knew that. Dave told me a while ago, but be proud I pronounced it right. Kasuki mask. I'm going to tell you, I like it when it's further away. Like this, now that I paused directly on it, I'm like, it's kind of cheap. It doesn't look that cool. Just looks like somebody painted it red, you know.
Wouldn't it be a mind job if this is somebody posing to be Kylo Ren in the Kylo mask?
Could be.
Because all the other footage we've seen, other than this scene here, is with Adam Driver not wearing the helmet.
So it's funny you bring that up because, Dave and I have we have difference of opinion on this point where I like Kylo Ren the mask. Dave doesn't because you can see the emotion, and I tend to agree on some points that the emotion is important. That is quite possible, but I also think that he put, granted, not that somebody couldn't steal it, but my argument would be, which isn't a very strong one, is that he put a lot of work into recreating the mask, making it better.
Who knows? It's even him that recreated it.
That could be true.
It could be Hux trying to undermine him and like put the mask back together. That's Huxy. I'm not saying he's in the mask, but let's just say he's dealing with one of the Knights of Ren and be like, "Hey, bro, you just got promoted. Jebediah, here's your new mask." I don't know.
It's all anarchy. Anarchy, I tell you.
Or it could be at the very beginning of the movie, where after he destroys that Vader podium with Rey, he then removes the mask because he no longer needs it. He's no longer bound by darkness, if you will.
Yeah, and so, and it's going to jump ahead a little bit, but like if you go, after you get done with that scene, you go to the next scene again, because that's the saga. You see Rey and the Millennium Falcon in the background, and you see Kylo standing on the hangar bay of an Imperial Star Destroyer, and he doesn't have the mask on. His locks are blowing in the wind like Dave's.
He's got the helmet in his hand though, in his right hand.
Oh, I didn't go far back enough.
20-second mark.
Oh, I see it.
Like all the stormtroopers are getting like blown away because the Millennium Falcon's like force. Not that the Millennium Falcon has force powers. I'm just saying like the propulsion is blowing everybody back, and Kylo's still like standing firm, kind of thing.
Maybe he has it in his hand because he's running to chase her. He's gonna put it on.
He's like, "Hey, I made my mask again. Look what I did." Maybe
Conversation. It's a conversation piece. Would you like to go on a date with me?
Do you like red? I do. No, too much.
I have a square body.
Leave him alone. He's a saint.
Okay.
Even though he killed Han Solo.
That's true. This next clip is awesome. You see Rey running to the edge of the hangar bay and jumping. Dave thinks it's a Millennium Falcon. You never see where she jumps to. The Millennium Falcon is in the background. But what I've learned in Star Wars is don't ever assume that's where it's going.
John, it's the Falcon. I'll bet you whatever you want right now.
No, I'm not betting you.
I'll bet you whatever you want, John.
No. I feel like you had a meeting with Filoni and he told you some secrets.
Filoni's not even working on this.
Filoni knows people who know people who know people.
Okay, so you know what I'm going to say right now? This takes place the first act of the movie. Her and Kylo destroy this Vader monument. Then she runs away, and then he relinquishes the mask. He no longer wears it for the rest of the film.
I could dig that. I get that.
That's what I'm going with. Like somehow they work together, or she's like invaded the Star Destroyer that he's on, and some shit goes down. They have a lot of dialogue. They figure out Palps is behind it. This is him like getting pulled, like his strings being pulled by the Vader monument thing, the mask. They destroy that, and now they know they have a common enemy.
All right, I dig it.
I don't know.
I agree.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay.
But she is jumping into the Falcon. I'll bet you whatever you want.
And then we flip to another scene. You got X-Wings. You got blaster bolts coming from the Imperial Star Destroyers, or these are lens flares.
No, they're blaster bolts. You got Y-Wings also, or at least one Y-Wing, and I believe that is a B-Wing?
It moves so quick, it's hard for me to pause.
I can't see any A-Wings. I know there's Y-Wings there for sure. I think it's a B-Wing at the bottom there. I have to double check my ship because I'm not that great with ships other than Imperials.
Okay. You flip. We go to another.
Well, but hold on. But look at all those freaking beautiful Star Destroyers, though.
We talked about the Star Destroyers.
They're
we know there's
beautiful.
a lot of.
Makes me want to play Star Wars Armada because look at that.
I
Imperial.
found Legion the other day.
What's up?
I found Legion the other day.
Did you buy it?
No, it was $100.
Well, then why are you telling me? You're pulling on my heartstrings. Dude, like this just reminds me of Armada. Like you got the Imperial mighty fleet ready. You got ships as far as the eye can see. That little red decal on the arrowhead. It looks great. I can't wait for that to be introduced in Armada. It will sooner or later, I'm sure. But it just looks awesome, man. I can't wait to see all these Star Destroyers. I'm going to get giddy and get your arm ready because I will be punching in excitement.
You're sitting next to Nelson.
I can't hurt Nelson. He's Adonis. Can I sit between both?
No.
Come on.
All right, so there's all the Star Destroyers that Dave likes. And you flip to the next scene. This is a scene we've seen before, nothing new. You see them riding on the outside of, it looks like one of the Imperial Star Destroyers on these horse-looking things.
Or box.
I see them riding, and then it flips to a scene where you see Rey in front of the throne again, which we saw in the last trailer. It like I said, this stuff flips super quick.
Which I love the fact that they dug deep and they used the Ralph McQuarrie concept art for this throne, because this was supposed to be the original throne in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that's awesome.
We talked about this.
I didn't know.
We talked about it. You don't ever pay attention to me. We have a damn show and you don't pay attention to me. Guys, this is horrible. This is classic John. Either way, it's awesome. I love that scene, and I love how they brought it back just to pay homage to the past of those who worked on it.
And then we get Rey and Kylo fighting on a ship where the turret is off to the left.
Oh, look at you, turret.
And that's it.
the end. Star Wars.
And says tickets available now.
Skywalker.
Check out Fandango.com. Dolby Cinema, December 20th.
I'm excited. Can't wait, man. Like these trailers, they continue to get me more and more jazzed.
Yes, so we'll wait to see more. I don't know. Do you think we will get anything else as far as a trailer, TV spot, or anything else? We're a month away. It makes sense. I think people are hyped. They're going to find a way to keep us entertained, but I don't think it's going to be in the form of a trailer.
No, but you're going to get more and more TV spots because that's what happened with The Last Jedi. Because one of the big TV spots that everybody like mind blew was when Rey was holding Kylo Ren's red lightsaber. Do you remember that? In the Praetorian Guard scene, that was a TV spot. I'm sure we're probably going to get at least 2 to 3 more of these things before Star Wars Day.
Yeah. So, pretty cool. Check out the trailer. It's posted on our Facebook page. You can go through it and listen to our podcast and see if you see different things that we didn't see. So, let's talk about Entertainment Weekly magazine.
What?
They have posted 3 different covers for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Clearly evident in these covers, they're paying homage to the entire Skywalker saga, which I think is pretty awesome. One cover has Queen Amidala.
I was going to say, yeah, start with the prequel.
Oh, yeah, no. That's the first one I posted. I tried to post them in order. Yeah, I did. Okay. So you got Queen Amidala, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, the Emperor, he was the Emperor, and Darth Maul, which all these characters on this cover had very, very, very big parts in the prequels, except Darth Maul, and he's on the cover.
Because he's number one.
I'm not trying to.
He's number one in our hearts, even though he's split in 2.
I'm not trying to allude to anything. I'm just saying, only one that did not have a very major. All the rest of those characters, or those actors, were in all 3 of the prequel movies except Darth Maul. He was in a very small snippet of Episode 1. So just throwing that out there.
So I agree, but I think the prequel cover magazine is lacking. You have a total of 5 actors on it, and the other ones. Look how many you have. You have an Ewok. You have BB-8, Dio, that have only been in like select little films. I would have loved to have seen Mace Windu. Give me Yoda. Like give me the Jedi that we know that they're supposed to be there. Give me Dooku. That would have been awesome on the prequel cover. Give me more Jedi. Give me all the fallen apprentices of Palps that led up to Vader.
Well, so I'm wondering if the reason they so you talk about Dooku. Dooku had a bigger appearance in the prequels than Maul did. You had a lot of other people that had bigger appearances. So that's why I call it out. Again, I don't think there's anything coming from it, but just it's interesting that they chose Maul.
He looks menacing.
I know, but
he's got a double-bladed saber. It's the only one we've seen in live action.
I'm just saying, it's interesting they chose him. We'll see what happens. If he comes out in Episode 9,
he died in Rebels.
Force Ghost, Force Vision.
I like when I first looked at it. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was awesome, but I felt it was lacking.
I would agree.
To me, it needed more.
When I scroll down to the second one and we see C-3PO, R2-D2, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, the Ewok, Han Solo, and well, what have we here? David does better than I do.
Mr. Calrissian, I love it. This is a solid cover. I love the second one. The original trilogy one is beautiful. I couldn't have done without the Ewok. I seriously could have.
Hey.
I could have done without the Ewok. Give me Yoda instead of the Ewok.
Where's Yaddle?
She's not in the prequel one because she only had like 2 seconds of screen time. I just go back to I wish the prequel one would have had more.
Okay. And then you got the new trilogy, which is Rose Tico. I forget this poor lady's name.
Janna.
Thank you. Kylo Ren, Dio, Rey, Chewbacca, Finn, and Poe, obviously, are the new trilogy cover, which is the third and final one they have.
But again, the first one just looks
it's
naked.
full.
The first one looks naked. There's not half the people that should be on that one.
Yeah, it's very full. It's very full. I didn't catch it at first. Darth Maul caught my attention, and then now as you mentioned it, I'm scrolling through. I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of people in the other two, and not that one. So,
because you could easily put Yoda on like right in front of the Emperor by Anakin's feet. Easily put Yoda there. Like, give me something. Give me Mace on the other side. Give me Dooku. Like, at least even out the numbers, because it's just messing with my OCD. I'm not a fan of this.
Okay.
They didn't consult with me before they designed these covers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We get into the other pictures. Some of these pictures we've already seen before. Rey with the training droid and the lightsaber.
Which I think this is the first time we've actually gotten a close-up look of that training droid. This one's got a hint of red in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there was a close-up of maybe
in
one of the trailers.
You see it briefly in the trailer that aired most recently, but I don't know. This one looks maybe different. Maybe it's just my eye. I don't know.
You got Kylo Ren. Clearly see the scar on his face. The background is very blurred out.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the page that we posted on. Sorry. I'm looking at the pictures I posted because I didn't post. I didn't post all the pictures because some of them are repetitious from what we've already posted.
You talking about the one where he's standing in the hangar bay with all the First Order troopers behind him that are a little blurry?
Yep.
Damn it, look at Adam Driver's face, the seriousness. He's like, that's my good old Ray right there. She hates me right now, but...
I thought you almost called her Ray Ray.
Nah, I didn't call her Ray Ray.
That's Ray Ray.
He's like, that's my girl Ray. I still got to make it up to her. But I'll see her again.
Then we go to Stormtrooper turned Resistant fighter Finn and newcomer to the saga Janna. Looks like they're in an open field. This kind of looks like the field that you
behind
see them walk. Well, yes, but this kind of looks like the field. Remember in the first trailer that we saw at Celebration, where they walk up on the remains of the Death Star, and it looks like they're in an open grassy field when they all walk up. This is what that field kind of looks like. And it also looks like their expressions, or Finn's expression, is very similar.
I think this is where Finn meets Janna and her people, and like he sees like Orbox and all this other shit go down.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my thought.
I don't know either. I'm just saying that's what the field looks like to me, because you see like the Death Star in the background in the water, and it seems very gloomy. And then where they're standing as they walk up from behind, it looks very open and bright and things like that. So, going on to the next one, you got pilot Poe Dameron along with Finn and Resistance mechanic and fighter Rose Tico.
Which, look how dashing Poe looks.
Didn't they say they were trying to do that in this one?
I don't remember. They might have. But every time I see him, he reminds me more and more of Nathan Drake from the Uncharted video game series by Naughty Dog. Like that's what the essence they're trying to capture with him.
He's grown up. He's learned his lesson after the Last
no,
Jedi.
He's no Nathan Fillion. I feel they're trying they're trying to capture Malcolm Reynolds also.
Well, he's no Nathan Fillion.
Because look at the gun on the hip. That's Nathan Fillion right there. That's a Han Solo kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt like they were trying to tailor him a little bit more towards like a Han Solo type.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the general thing that they had with him. But random fun fact, I forget the name of the real life guy, but if they ever want to make a Netflix movie or like season 7 of Narcos, Oscar Isaac would play a spot on lookalike to El Chapo's son. Just saying.
El Chapo.
I'll send you a picture. Like a side by side. Looks crazy wild.
Okay, I believe you. Then we go down. Our next picture is another newcomer to the saga, First Order Allegiant General Pride, which is Richard E. Grant. He was in the picture with Huxley.
Is it Pry or Pride?
Pride. Did I say Pry? I meant Pride. My bad, guys. It looks like Pride to me. It's spelled differently, but
again, savage. Tyranny. Yeah, like I love that. It's small, but it's awesome.
Okay.
Anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
And then we go and bust into a storm a storm of stormtroopers and snowtroopers on the march. So this then in my opinion, based off the trailer, this tells us that is snow, and they're on the same planet that we see Rey with the lightsaber and potentially going up against somebody who could be Jebediah Wren, according to Dave.
Jebediah.
Moving on, you got Finn, Chewbacca, and Rey and Poe face a threat. And then something else that we posted yesterday, you got Poe in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
How do you feel about that?
His face looks like he's super excited to follow the people that have been in the pilot of the Millennium Falcon.
Well, first of all, just being able to sit in the Falcon. You know, when we get to Galaxy's Edge and get to do it, it's going to be awesome. But to be able to sit in the real Falcon that they've designed and made, like, look to spec, I can only imagine that feeling.
Well, yeah. And so the other thing I think, too, is that Poe is a damn good pilot.
So you want to put him in the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy?
See if he can do it. Does he have the ability to be able to do it?
It's a totally different kind of vehicle, spaceship that we know that he's capable of flying. Because X-Wings and TIE Fighters are one thing, but this is a lot bigger, as well as the perception of having the window on the right-hand side and not centered. You know what I mean? That might screw with the pilot's maneuverability.
He's either going to fail or he's going to fly it.
He's going to fly it. Real quick, who do you think gets the Falcon at the end of the movie? If it still lives.
It crashes.
You think the Falcon crashes and burns?
Done.
JJ's going to kill the Falcon. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Kill off the Falcon.
Are you being serious with me? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Really? You think the Falcon's going to die?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll kill
I think
the Falcon.
what else epic ending would it be is like, look, it's done its task. It's passed hands to several different people. Han Solo died. The Falcon is now rested because the mission has been accomplished. We have come to the end of the saga. Has the mission
been accomplished?
We've come to the end of the saga.
If they make episode 10, 11, 12, they need to be the Falcon.
No.
I don't know.
It's going to be the Razor Crest of the Mandalorian.
Really? Razor Crest. Okay. I don't know. I want to say Rey's going to keep it. I want to say
he's going to go have kids.
So? I would like it to go in a perfect world to Han and Lando. I mean, to Han and Lando, to Chewie and Lando.
It's like, whoa, spoiler.
Coming back. No, I'd want it to go to Chewie and Lando. Considering it started with Lando, let it end with Lando.
It could. It's probably going to happen. Why else? There's other reasons they probably brought him back, but that may have been one of the biggest reasons why they brought him back. So I'd be okay with it.
Because in my mind, I think that Chewie and Lando have a real good connection, a real good bond. I think that would be like, hey, you know what? You're my second best friend, Lando.
Second best friend? It's second breakfast.
I think it's a second best friend. But anyway, I digress.
All right.
Any other shots?
Nope, that was it. We already covered the covers that were in the bottom. Are you going to pick up these magazines?
I think I am. I think I actually am, and I'm going to frame them. Put them somewhere on the wall.
But you didn't pick up any of the other ones.
But this one has a recap of all the 3 sagas. All 3 chapters in the saga. No?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just thinking I might as well. I can't just have the original and the sequel trilogy one. I have to have the third one also. Even though I don't like the fact that it's not as full and lush.
You can draw people in.
Have you seen my drawings? Just as bad as my spelling. It's horrible.
Yeah, but you paint a little bit, so you're not that bad.
Anywho, what else is on the docket other than Baby Yoda's adorable and continues to take the world by storm?
All right, so the rest of the stuff is kind of just like information here and there that we talked through, that we can talk through. And so Kathleen Kennedy reached out to the Rolling Stones, like the band, reached out to Rolling Stones magazine and said, hey, I want to talk about the rise of Skywalker and the future of Star Wars. So they obliged, and they did an article with Kathleen Kennedy.
Obliged.
So there's Star Wars News Net put together like a recap episode, a recap of the article. It's posted on our Facebook page. You can also find the Rolling Stones article just by Google searching. But I picked out they asked her several different questions about where is the franchise going? How much longer do you want to be a part of this franchise? What's next for you? Are the movies ever done? We've had a lot of creative differences. Are you okay with that? Are you happy about the controversy that Rian created with the Last Jedi? What's next? All those questions came out. And so what I did is, instead of boring you with going through and asking all those questions, which you can read yourself, I kind of just, kind of talk through and like wrote down some real quick bullet points on things that Kathleen said that I thought were important. One of the questions, the first question out the gate, was about the fact that, hey, you've had some issues, like there's been some issues with creative differences. Like, would you address that? Do you think that's a problem? Are you swayed by that? And really what she said is, look, these are big movies. And they are a lot of work. And people sign on and we sit down and we talk through all these concerns and everything with them. But at the end of the day, when they start getting into the nuts and bolts of what these movies entail and what has to happen, they realize that it may just be a little bit too much work for them. And that's why there's usually some creative differences. And that's one thing that people forget, is that these are huge movies. Being in the movie business isn't easy. It takes a lot of work, and the creativity that you have to get these movies going is very difficult. And so she said, I think it's very important that people note that it's a lot of work and they're big movies, and we got to be understand by that. It's a lot of detailed work at that. Thoughts, Dave? Could you be a movie producer?
It was always a pipe dream of mine to be in the movies, but didn't work out. Never pursued it, never tried it. So now I am just a deep admirer of the genre and other people's work. I get where Kathleen Kennedy is coming from. How many times do people get hired for a job and then halfway through it they're like, you know what, this isn't for me. I can't do it. I thought I could, but this is more strenuous and I can't do it. I'm sorry. It happens. Or how many times do you think you're putting in your best work and your boss has to come back and tell you, like, hey, this doesn't make sense. What are you doing? Like, I don't think this project's right for you. Let's find something more suited for your style, your creativity. It happens all the damn time.
Yep.
It's just you pay more attention to it because it's Star Wars.
Yep.
It's Star Wars. It's huge. Everyone and their mom knows Star Wars, whether they know it by a specific character, a sound, a reference, or even the way the logo starts off at the beginning of the show or the movies. I'm sorry. Star Wars is so iconic and ingrained in everyone's mind one way or the other. It pulls everybody. So I completely agree that sometimes it's just not a right fit.
Yeah, and fit's everything. Fit and timing is everything. So that's a big part of it. Another thing that she brought up was, one of the questions was, have you ever felt that you got this? Like, we've got this and it's going to be a great story. And she said, look, movies are always evolving. The technology is always evolving. What the fans want is always evolving. There's never a moment where I feel that's it. We're done. It's never that moment. There's always something more that could be done or could be changed. She said, but at some point you have to get to the point where if we didn't get to this point where we said, okay, hey, we love this. It's going to do great. The fans are going to love it. Put it out there. But once it releases, you can have 30 other things that you realize you should have done. But she said, if we did that, we would never release movies. We got to have a point where we say, it's never a point where we say, that's it. It's an evolving work of art. And that's what movie making is. It's a work of art. It's always evolving. You can always do something different. So I thought she said that impeccably well.
Yeah, I agree.
I have no additional comments. Like, right on, Kathleen Kennedy. Good job.
But that just goes to show you the level of passion and heart she has for filmmaking. People have said that her heart's not in Star Wars, that she's just a great producer. You know what? It takes a great producer to create great films. It takes a great producer to oversee someone else in the director's seat in this, because hell, she's learned from Lucas, Spielberg, all these others. She's been a part of some of the biggest films in franchise history, in cinema history. She knows what she's doing. And like you said, she said it very eloquently and just said, hey, we got to put our stamp on gold. I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's awesome. Simple answer. They haven't decided where they're going yet. After episode 9, said there's stuff in the pipeline with, going to finish out Star Wars Resistance. You got the Mandalorian, you got the Cassian Andor series, you got the Obi-Wan series. But as far as movies, they don't know where they're going yet. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. But are you going to change your timelines? Because we haven't heard of any timeline changes, and we know it takes a while to make a movie because of the level of detail. But hey, we'll see what happens. But they have no idea where they're going yet. Or she says that. They don't. There's undecided on their path at this point.
Who knows? It could be all smoke and mirrors. They could already have a script. They've already set shooting days. They're just not ready to reveal it to the public yet.
There you go. She does touch on the Rion controversy a little bit.
Ooh.
She says, you know what? So I'll read the question because this one I thought that was important to make sure. Rian Johnson made some controversial choices in episode 8, The Last Jedi, especially considering its dramatic purpose as the second movie in the trilogy. Were you, to an extent, deliberately setting out to challenge fans and their expectations? And I love how she responds to this. We definitely did. We're talking all the time about how we move Star Wars forward and how we keep it relevant. Yes, it's going to upset the fans. Lucasfilms being sold to Disney upset the fans. What Disney has produced has upset the fans. Even George Lucas has gone on record and said, I'm upset with the way they did for Force Awakens. They talk about that. Bob Iger talks about that in his book. George wasn't happy. But Kathleen addresses that as well, and I'll jump ahead a little bit. She said, I've known George for over 35 years. She said, it's very hard for somebody who has created, molded, thought up, developed, put together life, blood, sweat, everything into something, and it go in a different direction than what he thought it was. I can see why he's upset about it. But he also trusted Disney with this by selling the company and realized, deep down, George realizes, I knew this was going to happen and I have to be okay with it. But I can still voice my opinions that I didn't like it. And I get it. People didn't like what he did with the prequels at all. But he still did it. It's what he wanted to do. Same thing. He is not a fan of what they're doing with the original trilogy or the new trilogy, and The Force Awakens. But he did it. He still allowed it to not allowed it, but he sold it to Disney. So she's like, you know what? He's upset about it, but at the end of the day, George is fine. He understands the creativity of making movies.
Yep, couldn't have said it better myself. Kathleen Kennedy's a beast. People think she's a pushover. No, she knows what the hell she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. And yeah, she knows some things didn't align with the creator, but that's the direction they needed to take to go ahead and get a new generation of Star Wars fans on board.
Yep.
I get
Final thing we'll cover.
McClunky.
Kathleen Kennedy enjoys what she does. She has no plans on going anywhere. She said, I need to get this trilogy wrapped up. We'll see what the future holds, but I enjoy what I do and I love what I do, and it's been incredibly exciting. And the fact that George asked her to do it was huge to her. And she's been doing this for years. So she's like, I don't know what the future holds, but what I'm focused on right now, and I'll quote this, it's been incredibly satisfying to reach this point where we've completed the saga and I think made a really wonderful movie. It's going to feel very satisfying to the audience. So that's what I'm focused on right at the moment. And what the future holds, who knows? People can dog Kathleen Kennedy all the time. She is very classy in her responses and how she handles situations. She can be very coy. It's part of being in the business. I get it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way she has taken the franchise and the way that she has led this. And I was born during the prequel era, and it's usually I hear a lot of original trilogy fans that start getting very, very upset about the direction it's going, but it's evolving all the time, like she mentioned. And you've brought this up before too, Dave. You love the original trilogy, but you were born in the prequel era. But the kids that are now old enough were born in the prequel era like us, and they're Ahmed Best has come back into the spotlight. People love Jar Jar.
Yeah.
It took 20 years, but they're here.
It's crazy.
They're here. So, like I said, pretty cool thing. I thought the article was pretty cool. As I mentioned, you can find it on our website in a synopsis, or just Google Rolling Stones Kathleen Kennedy.
To kind of segue and kind of mesh with what you're talking about real quick, it seems like The Mandalorian has brought the entire fandom together.
Yep.
And that is under Disney's regime, under Kathleen Kennedy's regime. It is the first Star Wars show, and it is fantastic. We've only seen 2 episodes. You know, everything loses its polish over time, except for Beskar armor. And I think this show's to stay, man. I think it's going to continue getting better. We're going to get new characters. We got Esposito coming up. We got Gina Carano. Hopefully some more Werner Herzog. And this show's here to stay. It is the best thing that we've gotten in Star Wars in a long time. Thoughts?
Agreed. The Mandalorian is awesome, and it has really brought the fans back together.
And it just goes to show you, like, Favreau being a fan since he was younger and getting not free reign, but getting the availability to put pen to paper and flush out his childhood thoughts and dreams and bring them to life. These are the kind of people that need to be working on Star Wars. And JJ's one of them. JJ's one of them, hands down.
And she said that he's one of the directors that has taken the reins and is able to do the hard work in this business to be able to make it happen. And he's done an amazing job with it. So, since Dave brought it up, we're going to close today with the McClunky thing. Because MovieWeb.com got an article that says Greedo actor weighs in on McClunky and that Disney Plus Star Wars change. So, if you look at it, Paul Blake was the original actor who played Greedo in A New Hope. And they sat down and talked to him and said, hey, dude, like, what's going on? For starters, Blake confirmed he had seen the new version of the scene. And his quote was, I did. I couldn't understand a word of it. Laughs. It confused me incredibly, but I've never understood anything about the movies anyway, particularly that. The convention I've just come back from, I had a million opinions from everybody. This new word. So I don't know what to think. Nobody knows what to think. Nobody knows what this is. There was somebody that came out in the article and said, best anyone can figure Ma Kalunki, which means in Hut, this is the end of you. Which means Greedo is telling Han Solo this could be the end of him. However, there is no subtitles or none of that indicate what the word is actually spelled. We just hear McClunky. So I guess we have to officially wait for Lucasfilm or Disney to come out and tell us this is what it is.
Either way, McClunky is part of my everyday vocabulary now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. Guys, we thank you for tuning in today. We are The Balance of the Force, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SWPodBalance. You can also head on over to our friends at ultrasaber.com. Pick out any lightsaber you want as long as it's not on clearance. When you get to checkout, in the coupon code, enter ForceFeels, all one word, all caps. You will receive 10% off on Balance of the Force, a Star Wars podcast. We thank you for tuning in. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Sith will rule the galaxy.
We shall